All right, on to another story that I talked about a little bit earlier this week. A story that came out largely on social media that supposedly, allegedly, former Green MP Golriz Ghahraman was once again under investigation or facing charges of shoplifting from a pack and save late last year. Now, it turns out that story was over-egged, and the suggestion was it had been put about by Leo Malloy, Auckland publican, and that a picture of her taken on a private security camera had somehow been obtained by the police. But look, the fact is, Golriz Ghahraman, as we understand, has not been charged with another shoplifting offence. She's already been convicted. She's no longer an MP. She's not sucking on the public tit. So she is a civilian, and she would appear to have some issues she's dealing with. So I didn't think it was a huge story. But the TUI billboard people did, and they didn't put up on physical billboards, but a TUI billboard in digital form that said, Golriz wouldn't shoplift again, would she? Yeah, right, appeared and caused a furore on social media. So was it a clever bit of marketing? Was it an unfair attack through marketing? And was the outrage real? Well, I thought we'd try and get an analysis of that, of how a story like that can feed into marketing. So we've got on the program now Bodo Lang, Professor of Marketing Analytics at Massey University. Bodo, nice to talk to you again. How are you?
I'm very good. Good morning. And you?
Very good. Look, TUI known for being edgy, known for, in the Kiwi parlance, extracting the Michael with their billboard advertising. Given that, is this really so outrageous that they would use a kind of rumoured story like this to grab some attention?
Look, I think I'm a big fan of advertising. I used to work in advertising myself many years ago back in Germany, and humor is a really powerful tool for brands. And I used to be a fan of the old TUI billboard campaign. Back in the day, there were many really good executions, good examples that everybody could have a good snigger at. I think the issue with this particular billboard that's been done online, and I think it's been purposely done online, because they knew that this would likely cause offense and it would have to be taken down. So online, it's very easy to do that. Offline in a real-world billboard that costs a bit more money. But the issue with this particular one is very simple, that there's basically a massive power imbalance between a large brand that has a large marketing budget and a individual that is not, as you said in the introduction, not in a public role anymore. And it's sort of working on the back of speculation. And, in fact, what it does is it amounts to bullying because
she can sue them, can't she?
I'm not sure whether she could sue them because it's pretty indirect, but it's certainly...
Well, no, it's suggested that she shoplifted or committed a crime.
Yes, quite possibly, but I think before that, if she is experiencing mental health issues, and I think a brand using its marketing muscle to single out an individual that may be a little bit vulnerable, and yes, perhaps has done something in the past at some point, I think is just really objectionable, and it really just amounts to a bullying brand. And I think what gets me with this is
but bullying's not illegal either, Bodo.
No, it's not. But is it a desirable quality for a brand? And the answer is...
Well, some might say for TUI beer, that's fine. That's kind of how it rolls.
Yes, well, exactly. And so I think the issue with this one is that it's an individual, that this individual is a little bit perhaps compromised, and that there is a brand that has, hundreds of thousands of dollars at its disposal to say what it wants to say. And I do agree with TUI that, we have all become just a little bit too serious. But the question is, how do you apply clever humor to elevate the brand? And I just don't think that billboard has done a good service.
Which is a matter of personal taste. Is there an advertising standard it might have breached, Bodo?
Absolutely, and so the Advertising Standards Authority, which is an industry body, has a whole raft of codes of ethics. And One of them is that an advertisement must not cause distress or public outrage or be misleading in any way. So,
Yeah.
like it's tick, 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 basically.
Well, someone's got to lay a complaint, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it's happened already, and so they will look at it and they will say, yep, this is probably not above board, and therefore they will be asked to take it down, which is why they've gone with it online anyway, because it's easy to take down. So I think TUI's been purposefully controversial, and when it's an individual, I just don't think that's a great move.
Yeah, but Bodo, the other thing is, how many times have we said TUI this morning? Right, that's worked, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. Media mentions of a brand name are worth a lot, and my sense is that if they would have done something like this with a powerful person that's maybe not even in the country, so if they would have done a joke about Elon Musk or Donald Trump or whatever, nobody would have complained, but if it's a small individual that really hasn't got much power, isn't wealthy, that power imbalance just shifts. So I think TUI's, brand guidelines need to be looked at, basically.
Do they, or do they just say, geez, that worked, we've been all over the news, we've had a laugh, and we won't have damaged our core audience at all?
Yeah, well, I think that's a good point, because hardcore fans of the brand, and people who buy it might say, look, I don't find this objectionable, and the only few people who do find it objectionable are probably non-buyers of the brand. So I think that is a good point you're raising, and there is a good chance that thinking is like this.
Yeah, because generally they're pretty funny, and you could do lots. You could have the Elon was doing an artsy salute. Yeah, right.
Absolutely. You could do all sorts of clever things, commenting on world politics that are far removed from us, and people would, and I think what gets me about this is that this is quite divisive advertising, and I think it would be much easier and much better for the brand to get new customers on board to like the brand. And
are you suggesting, Bodo, they get a transgender spokesperson and come up with a light product?
I don't think that would be the right move for TUI.